Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your November 1st SmackDown and 205 Live events after Crown Jewel. But first you got birthdays. October 30th birthday, you got Edge, he was born in 1973. November 1st birthdays. Bobby Heenan, 1944. Tyler Rex, 1978. Eli Drake, 1982. There wasn't any birthdays for Halloween Day. SmackDown was not going off as scheduled, as they have had to do some last-minute changes. Not the first time, but this time it's serious. According to a new WWE announcement from WWE, there were flight issues very similar to Hulk Hogan getting to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, following the Crown Jewel from yesterday. As after the event, they had issues, and just announced the night before SmackDown will feature surprises due to troubles. And SmackDown on Fox will take place for the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. As usual, give live coverage coming from after 7 p.m. Central Time. As I got some of the news right after I got off work, previously noted on here, WWE announced a lineup for tonight's SmackDown, but the matches have had segments been removed from the preview and website listing. The original lineups are as follows: Roman Reigns versus Constable Corbin, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley versus Nikki Cross, Dana Brooke, and Carmella. New Universal Champion The Fiend appearing on Miz TV with The Miz. But those probably changing. In an update, PW Insider reports that the majority of those delayed were leaving the Kingdom for SmackDown will not make the TV tapings, are now at hotels in Riyadh. It was said that there is no word yet on when the talents and crew are leaving to return to the United States. But some have made it, but after SmackDown. Officials have made arrangements to try and get those absolute necessary for SmackDown to Buffalo, but nothing has been confirmed. Also noted that there are a lot of people within WWE upset about the situation, going as far as up the ladder as one could imagine. Well, the higher-ups made it. Word is that a mechanical issue due to the fuel line of the plane, among other issues, is the reason for the delay. WWE talent and staff have reportedly been sitting on the plane for hours as they have cleared customs, leaving the Kingdom, but cannot leave the plane without going through customs again. Very similar to a certain girl that I've been talking to for like 5-6 years. WWE was able to rush out certain talents on other chartered planes, according to PW Insider, but sources were unable to confirm which talents were rushed out. That was Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon, Brock Lesnar. So far that I've heard. The rest of the crew has been waiting to leave, and they still have several more hours to wait before being able to fly back to the USA. With a near 20-hour flight from Riyadh to Buffalo, WWE talents are looking at a long, hectic day of travel if they make it to the KeyBank Center in Buffalo for SmackDown or not. How can it be 20 hours if they're ahead of time and you travel back in time? I don't know how they figure 20 hours. Pro Wrestling Cheek has reported that several Blue Brand superstars are in danger of missing this week's show. The report noted that the delay has lasted for hours, with superstars and other WWE employees stuck on the plane the entire time. Word was that WWE was working on a backup plan that would get some of the talent to Buffalo for SmackDown, which would be difficult to do to the length of the long flight. It was also reported that a second charter flight has been put together for top stars in hopes of getting them to Buffalo for SmackDown. Dave Meltzer noted on Twitter that WWE had a problem in the Kingdom, and talent was not allowed to leave on their flight, and that most are still there. As of around 3 a.m. Eastern Time, this morning, our time, it was reported that 20 people, 12 being talent, have left the kingdom, but the rest were still there. Meltzer also noted that he heard the rest of the talent were not going to be able to leave the kingdom for not longer than 3 hours, which would put them back in the United States too late for the beginning of SmackDown. If talents are unable to make SmackDown, WWE will be facing a situation where they are working with a limited roster for SmackDown, as some of the Raw talents were also in the kingdom. Various flight tracker websites show that one flight is scheduled to arrive in Buffalo on Friday morning with plenty of time to spare, but it's unclear if the second charter flight is included on those trackers. The trackers indicate that everything will be just fine with talents making it to SmackDown, but nothing has been confirmed. Noted back in mid-October, the WWE was chartering a flight from the Kingdom to Buffalo just to make sure that the roster and the production crew made it back to the United States in time for SmackDown. Those plans are up in the air, as it seems. Brock Lesnar reportedly left the Kingdom on his own flight, so it's possible that he appears on SmackDown despite being advertised ahead of time. Like I said, well, he had arrangements for a flight to get there, but flew with the WWE crew. But on the way back, he flew on his own. Several superstars such as The Miz, Elias, Daniel Bryan, Matt Hardy, and others stayed back in the United States. They didn't even go to Riyadh, so they would be able to make it to SmackDown as scheduled, including the women's division. It's always possible that we get some WWE NXT or Raw superstar appearances on SmackDown instead, but nothing has been confirmed as of 4 a.m. Atlas Air, the charter company that WWE used to fly from the Kingdom back to the United States, has issued an apology for the mechanical issues that caused the delays. Don't know which one Hogan used to fly on to get there, but the tires popped when they landed. So that was a scary landing. Representative for Atlas Air issued the following statement through WWE, which they sent to us. A chartered WWE passenger flight operated by Atlas Air is currently delayed in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, due to mechanical issues. The flight was scheduled to depart at 0300 hours local time on November 1st. Our top priority is always to ensure our passengers arrive safely and on time at their destination. The aircraft is being repaired and will be inspected and certified before returning to service to transport our passengers to their final destination. We regret that the operational disruptions delayed the flight and apologize to our passengers who were inconvenienced. Also noted, some of the top talents such as Brock Lesnar plus Vince McMahon and his crew have already made it back in the air. I did not get to report the full injuries from NXT this week, so here they are in this episode of SmackDown. NXT episode aired on the USA Network. So far, these are to be believed as storylines. Dakota Kai had to have her eyes flushed after taking the green mist from WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Asuka, as she was having trouble with her vision after the show. Kai also suffered a knee hyperextension, and her status is questionable at this point. NXT Tag Team Champion Kyle O'Reilly suffered a bruised eye during the non-title main event, which saw he and Bobby Fish defeat Matt Riddle and Keith Lee. The injury is not considered to be serious. Well, the Fiend Bray Wyatt defeated Seth Rollins in the Falls Count Anywhere main event of Crown Jewel, event to become the new WWE Universal Champion. Wyatt took to Twitter afterwards with a cryptic message and photo after the win. You can't kill it. Under the red light, the zombie man rules the universe. Hashtag Yowie Wowie, he wrote. Wyatt also responded to a congratulatory tweet from adult entertainment company Brazzers. They wrote, quote, congratulations at Bray Wyatt, WWE Bray Wyatt. We hope that was good for you too. Hashtag WWE Crown Jewel. Wyatt responded, oh, was it ever? Unquote. Brazzers then tweeted back with what appears to be an offer to the man who recently had a child with JoJo Offerman. They wrote, now you've got to wrestle one of our superstars. Hashtag Yowie Wowie. Unquote. The NXT Cruiserweight Champion Leo Rush will be back on 205 Live for tonight's episode of from the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. As advertised, WWE had just announced that Rush will face Raul Mendoza in non-title action. They also announced Ari Daivari versus Isaiah Swerve Scott for tonight for the show. A rematch from last week, which Scott won. Okay, it's been reported that several WWE NXT superstars are being flown to Buffalo from Florida for the show. As I got most of this news on Thursday night. And then Triple H will also be running things. So whoever your production or writer is, it's going to be Triple H for tonight. Who was also on the show, TV appearance, with some surprise appearances from other stars. Stay tuned for the results. Lesnar's appearance and SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley defending against Nikki Cross are the only confirmed happenings for tonight's show as of early this morning, because the original lineup was Nick's due to travel debacle coming out of Saudi Arabia. Well, I got this news about 6 p.m. tonight. Catherine Kelly has an update on what to expect tonight on #SmackDown in this link. Recently on the Steve Austin show, former WWE and WCW performer Marc Mero, formerly known as Johnny B. Bad from WCW, joined WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold via Skype for a wide-ranging conversation, among other things. Mero talked about his ex-wife Sable, his return to WWE in 2003, and how he found out that she was cheating on him. And the interview can be found in this link. You don't believe me? Go to the interview. I'm going to give you some highlights. Recently on the Stone Cold Steve Austin show, on the subject of Sable's return to WWE in 2003, Mero divulged that his ex-wife contacted WWE Chairman Vince McMahon about coming back to the company without consulting Mero first. I'll never forget this, Mero prefaced. She calls me up and she says, "Hey, Mark, what do you think if I go back to wrestling?" And Steve, with God as my witness, I was dumbstruck. I go, "Are you crazy? First of all, they hate you. Vince would never have you back. Are you crazy?" She goes, "I already talked to him, and he said he'll think about it." Are you kidding me? And that's how it all started. She had to go and apologize to some of the big stars of the company at the time, and I won't mention names, but she went and did the right thing. She went back and she apologized, and she got Sable back. And now I'm home watching the kid, taking her to school. Now they do have a daughter together, and doing all the stuff Dad does. And Sable's on the road, and every night we have this thing where we say goodnight, and my daughter and I would say goodnight to her herself. And I remember that the phone calls would start to get less and less. She was tired, and she just wasn't around as much. And Steve, I was thinking, something's going on, man. This ain't right. We were really close too, and then our marriage just started tanking. After that Playboy thing, it just started to go downhill. According to Mero, he started to suspect Sable was having an affair and listen to her voicemails. Eventually, Mero would come to find out that Sable was cheating with 8-time world champion Brock Lesnar. I remember thinking, something's going on. She has got to be seeing someone, so I remember. She didn't answer the phone one night, so I really cut this promo on her cell phone, and I was like, how could you do this? Not answer your phone? We had an agreement that we talked at night. And I hung up the phone, and I thought, what a jerk I am. Why would I do that? She's out there trying to earn a living. She's out there doing something she loves. So I think I called back her phone. I knew her password because we were that close. We knew each other's passwords and stuff. So I thought, let me delete this before she hears it, right? So I called back her number and punched in her code. It says, you have 2 unheard messages. And okay, I have to listen to the first one to get to mine. And it was another wrestler talking about them too. And I was like, Oh my God, Steve, I'll tell you, we've all been in this position before. My heart was broken. You can't sleep, you can't eat, you're sweating. And I remember thinking, when I find out who this guy is, I'm going to kick the living tar out of this man. And then I found out it was Brock Lesnar. Steve, this gives forgiveness a whole new meaning. Our marriage was over. We ended up getting divorced, but God bless them. They got married. They have kids. Mero at it. They live a happy life, and kudos, man. Following Mero's divorce, he found himself really struggling. Apparently, the marvelous one lost $1.6 million from day trading. I made a huge error in my life, which was I not only got into gambling, but I got into day trading. Mero admitted. Now I still had a lot of money at that time, but I got into day trading, which is just like gambling. You're in front of that computer all day long buying and selling stocks. Steve, I lost $1.6 million. Okay, so now I got back to zero. I remember I was down to my last 200,000. That's all I had left to my name. Mero, who is now a motivational speaker, says he had a difficult summer, losing 5 loved ones, and getting divorced in a span of 2 months. Well, Steve, the summer has probably been one of the toughest summers of my life. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I was divorced in July. 2 weeks later, one of my best friends in the world, in fact, I'd been getting these tats now, and he's the guy. One of my best friends doing all these tats. It's funny, I'm 58 years old and decided to get all these tattoos. So, midlife crisis. Don't know what you want to call it, but anyways, doing that, and then one of my best friends, one of the guys I talk about all the time, 35 years, and we've got a picture here called Friends for Life. He just passed away, and he's my age. Brother-in-law just passed away at 61, cancer. And then I lost one of the guys who works for our company. He's a volunteer for our company. His name is Gray Hudson, and he passed away at 61 also. So in just 2 months, I lost 5 of the closest people in my life on top of my divorce. So it has been a rough summer, but my therapy is getting right back on that stage. And the worst thing you can do is just sit there and mourn. You can only mourn for so long. Man, before you've got to go back out there, and being from Texas, you got to get back on that horse. And I had to do that. My joy comes from helping others, man. I always say, if you want to be happy, help someone else become happy. Mero continued, if you want to be successful, help someone else become successful. I just had a thought. I'll let you know. Spoiler alert. And a few other videos. Shane Helms updating fans with a picture from what appears to be in an airplane. It looks like he's seated on a flight as he holds up what we can only assume is a non-alcoholic beverage since the plane is in Riyadh. He said, here's to a great group of people that made the best of an unusual situation. Here's a link, and it says, time to fly. Well, I guess they're on the road. In the air. This could have been a much more worse situation than it turned out to be. Fans were worried for a bit, and we're likely to hear the whole story soon enough. In the meantime, we're just glad that everyone is headed back. Previously reported that Kofi Kingston and the rest of the superstars who were chartered for the first flight arrived in the United States just before SmackDown concluded. Now it looks like Kofi is back in the United States. He sent out a tweet to let everyone know. It was also quite a day. Back in the United States, what a day. It's good that Kofi Kingston and the people who came back first are back in the USA. The rest of the roster could already be in the air, and on their way back, WWE stars are finally making their way home from Saudi Arabia. But 12 of them arrived back in the United States just before SmackDown concluded. Lacey Evans made history at Crown Jewel as she completed the first women's match in the country. She recently tweeted out afterwards, I'm good, still getting whatever I want, just high in the air on a private charter. It appears that Evans was waiting on the second flight and finally left at 3 a.m. local time in Saudi Arabia. Now that she's high in the air, she can get back to being the classy lady on Twitter. And she quoted by saying, "Those nasty ladies were lucky I was stuck on this private charter, hashtag SD Live, hashtag nothing but nasties." Lacey Evans, WWE on Twitter, "I'm good, still getting whatever I want. Just high in the air. On a private charter, hashtag like a lady." And a fan tweeted to her on Twitter, name at Dan905, replying to Lacey Evans, WWE, "I went to SmackDown only to see you. Glad you're safe." Lacey retweeted him, saying, "I'm on my way, honey. Hashtag you nasty." Well, 2K Games released the first patch for WWE 2K20 to fix various issues including crashes, freezing, and gameplay controls. Patch notes, November 1st, 2019. Hello, everyone. WWE 2K20 patch 1.02 is now live on Xbox One, PS4, and PC only. Patch addresses reported concerns regarding the following issues, and we expect to roll out additional patches in the near future to address additional concerns. Gameplay and controls, graphics and clipping, hair physics, hit detection and aiming, interactions with tables, ladders, steel steps, and other objects, referee actions, on-screen button prompts, characters warping or moving unnaturally around the arena, levitating, the heavenly floating, crashes and freezes, image downloads, entrances and attires, universe mode, editing and saving, custom and created superstars, and creation modes, commentary and sound effects, and lastly, but not leastly, online stability, matchmaking, desyncs, and lag. Well, on a chat that went along with that report, a user named Hulk Hogan TMLS said it's fixed a lot of bugs, but there are still some, namely using My Player Online Nerds a patch. But I've just used the need to play through the immersive My Player story mode. I do wish I had a skip button for the video portions, which they added a few months into 2K19, and I'm sure they'll do again. But they put a lot of effort into the story, so I actually had to pay attention, and don't mind. The game has a lot of improvements over the last year, and if they had waited another month to get these bugs out, people would have probably been lauding it as the best in over a decade. Dude, Hulk Hogan's comeback is awesome. Well, no dark matches advertised, promoted, probably because they didn't have anybody to wrestle, because they were all used on the show. Well, other than announcements for SmackDown, featuring Tom Phillips, Aiden English, and Renee Young. Well, Aiden English replaced Corey Grace, and this is according to the Wrap. I've seen the trio calling tonight's show, replacing Corey Graves and Michael Cole, who are among the talents that were called up in the flight debacle from being in Saudi Arabia for Thursday's Crown Jewel event. English currently called 205 Live, while Phillips works to NXT UK and 205 Live, so he's doing double duty tonight. Renee hosts the WWE Backstage studio show on FS1, but she's still also listed as special contributor on SmackDown with Graves and Cole. SmackDown on Fox opens up with the usual video package. Live from the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. The power goes off inside the arena. Tom Phillips welcomes us. He chimed in by Renee Young and Aiden English. Tom mentions the travel issues for Saudi Arabia, which is why they were replacing Michael Colesaw and Tattoo Champion of the World, Corey Graves. And says that they will have more on that later. Go right to the ring, and we get WWE Champion Brock Lesnar out with Paul Heyman. Kayla Braxton does ring introductions, but of course, Heyman takes the mic and does his own introductions. He goes on and says Lesnar is pissed off tonight. Heyman talks about last night's win over the debuting Cain Velasquez at Crown Jewel. Heyman shows us a video from the short match that took place as the opener in Saudi Arabia on Thursday, which only lasted about 3 minutes. It lasted about that long on SmackDown as well. Actually see the whole match, which lasted, the report says 2 minutes. like I said, squash match. Heyman calls it the most spiritually orgasmic moment of Lesnar's career. And says after that, here came everyone's hero, Rey Mysterio. Some fans boo for Rey's name. Heyman shows us footage of Rey destroying Lesnar with steel chair shots after the match. Heyman says we have a real problem going on around here. Heyman says that he and Lesnar went to Vince McMahon and asked him to serve Rey up to Lesnar. Vince said he can't do that because SmackDown Superstars are contractually exclusive to Fox, and Raw Superstars are exclusive to USA Network. Heyman says if Rey can't come to SmackDown, Lesnar's going to Raw on Monday to find Rey, and if anyone from WWE or Network has a problem with that, they're going to what are they going to do about it? Heyman goes on and announces that Lesnar officially quits SmackDown on Fox and is showing up on Monday on Raw to go hunting for Rey. Heyman speaks to Rey some in Spanish and drops a mic as they march to the back. Well, didn't I mention about the no champion on Raw? Could this be a champion switch? As your Universal Champion is now on SmackDown, Bray Wyatt. And Brock Lesnar is back on Raw, but Fox Network themselves wanted Brock themselves on the network. So I'm predicting a lawsuit by Fox Network. That could be my spoiler alert to Brock Lesnar himself. The announcer talked about what just happened. Camera cuts backstage to Lesnar and Heyman exiting the building. We see Triple H and Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels is with him. Well, Triple H walks up to the hallway where they just exited. And you see an ambulance backstage. Possible. But didn't happen. Fans pop as they watch Lesnar and Heyman walk out. Well, you know, HBK's been helping out with NXT training, so possibly why he's there with Triple H. Still to come segment, Bayley defends against Nikki Cross as we go back to commercial. Since that match was changed earlier, right before SmackDown at 6 p.m. That match is up next, and we got championship match. Originally scheduled a six-woman action. Nikki Cross versus champion Bayley. Back for the break, out comes champion Bayley with Sasha in her corner. Nikki Cross is out next. We get former ring introduction from Kayla Braxton. Kayla. Bell rings and they go at it. Bayley takes it to the corner. Cross rolls her up for a quick 2 count. Cross with an early pin attempt for a 2 count. Bayley comes right back with a knee to the gut and then drops Cross as Banks cheers her on. Cross sends Bayley to the floor. Cross drops Bayley through the ropes and nails a tornado DDT on the floor at the fans pop. Cross brings it right back in the ring for a 2 count. We go to commercial with Cross in control. Back to the break, Bayley has control after Banks assists her during the break. Cross looks to mount offense with a drop kick through the ropes to the floor, but Bayley catches her and sends her to the steel steps as Banks laughs. Bayley brings it back into the ring for a 2 count. Cross counters again, hits a neck breaker. Cross with more offense and another 2 count. Cross with close eyes and splash in the corner as she rallies the crowd. Cross with a bulldog out of the corner as her signature moves. And crowd pops louder for her. Cross goes to the top, hits Cross body for a close 2 count. Cross shows frustration. Banks provides a distraction from the referee from the apron, but gets kicked to the floor by Cross. Bayley takes advantage of the distraction and knocks Cross to the mat. Bayley goes to the top and hits a big flying elbow, but Cross kicks out too. Bayley can't believe it. Bayley takes Cross to the top and they tangle. Bayley counters and Cross goes face first to the mat. Cross goes to the floor for a breather, but ends up trapping Bayley in the apron cover and working her over for a pop. Banks comes over but gets dropped. Cross brings it back into the ring. The referee checks on Bayley, possibly being hurt. Cross goes to the top. Banks takes the advantage of the referee being distracted and pushes Cross from the top. Bayley goes on and gets a pin to retain the title. Classic hit style Bayley. After the match, NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler suddenly attacks at ringside as fans go wild as Banks and Cross get dropped. Shayna enters the ring to a loud NXT chant. Baszler destroys Bayley now. So all three SmackDown stars have been annihilated. Baszler stands tall with her title belt as fans cheer her on. Also out with her was Tegan Knox. Baszler makes her exit through the crowd as we go back to commercial. Or did I spoil it for later? Pat McAfee is on commentary now, replacing Aiden English. Kathy Kelly backstage with Sami Zayn doing an interview. Kathy asks Sami about what happened so far tonight, and he says it's been pretty weird tonight. He says a pattern, maybe WWE NXT is here tonight. Sami says NXT needs to watch where they put their noses tonight, and if one of them steps to them, it'll be pretty bad news for them. What does he think he is? Bad news Barrett? Wade Barrett? Well, Matt Riddle and Keith Lee appear. Also of NXT, Sami kisses up to them both and says he's a big fan. Sami goes on about how he's been down with NXT since day one. Sami goes to show them he's wearing an NXT shirt, but when he takes his undoes his jacket, he says he left it in his car. Sami says he's going to go get it from his car. Well, they attempt to follow him. They offer to go with him, but he's in a hurry to get away from them. They follow him and offer to help him find the shirt. Sami suddenly takes off running, and they chase after him. They don't get very far. Sami comes running down the ramp and tries to hop the barrier, but Riddle stops him. Riddle and Lee have Sami in the ring now. He pleads with him. Fans chant bro at NXT. As Riddle kicks his flip-flops off, Sami swings at Riddle, but he ducks and rocks him. Riddle was bro Derek in the middle of the ring for a big pop. Lee goes to the top and nails a big moonsault on Sami. Riddle and Lee pose in the ring and celebrate as the music hits. Still to come segment, Tom says The Miz will try to interview himself on Miz TV. Back to the ring, out comes The Miz for another must-see edition of Miz TV. Miz mentions how his guest tonight was supposed to be new Universal Champion, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, but he was unable to make it due to travel issues from Saudi Arabia. Miz shows us footage of how Wyatt beat Seth Rollins for the title and crown jewel. Miz goes on and mentions the NXT superstars appearing tonight: Shayna Baszler, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee. Miz is suddenly interrupted by the music as NXT star Tommaso Ciampa makes his way to the ring for a pop. It's not his first debut because he has made debuts with Johnny Gargano as a tag team on both Raw and SmackDown previously this year. Fan chant NXT as Ciampa takes the mic. He says Miz TV is to be must-see TV, and Miz is supposed to be one of the most must-see superstars. Ciampa introduces himself as the greatest sports entertainer of all time. Ciampa says Miz stands here like the world is supposed to revolve around him, but it's time someone came out here to show him where he sits on the food chain. Ciampa says Miz is everything that's wrong with Raw and SmackDown. Some fans boo. Ciampa goes on about what he does in NXT and says while Miz plays the part, he is the part. Miz talks about how he knows who Ciampa is and what he does, but he thought Ciampa would come up with something more original. Miz goes on about how Ciampa said just the same thing people have been saying to him for 15 years. Miz says if NXT and Ciampa are here to make a statement, then make it. Miz gets closer in Ciampa's face. Ciampa says, those sound like fighting words. They go on and make the match for her later. But it's going to be right here, right now. Miz says, the mics are dropped and we go to commercial. Back from the ring, the bell rings and they go at it. Miz takes Ciampa down first, then shows off. Ciampa gets the upper hand and sends Miz to the apron, but he stays on. Miz with a 2 count. Miz tosses Ciampa to the floor for a pop. Miz hypes the crowd up, goes to kick through the ropes, but he misses and Ciampa sends him to the barrier. Ciampa then launches Miz into the steel steps a few times. Ciampa then takes a seat on the apron and pats himself on the back. Ciampa brings him back in the ring and aggressively keeps Miz grounded. More back and forth. Ciampa misses the clothesline. Miz with a backbreaker, neckbreaker combo for a 2 count. Patented Miz style. Miz with kicks in the corner. The yes, orgasm kicks as the fans count along. Miz with a running double knees in the corner, and then again. Miz charges again, but Ciampa nails a big discus clothesline. Ciampa keeps control with a big knee in the corner, close for a 2 count. Miz blocks the fairy tale ending. The tangle, and Miz chops the knee out from behind. Ciampa fights the figure 4, attempt off. Miz avoids the power bomb, kicks the leg out, and drops Ciampa with a big DDT for a 2 count. Miz with the figure 4 in the middle of the ring. Ciampa goes for the ropes, but Miz keeps it locked in. Ciampa rolls over to reverse it. More back and forth until Ciampa breaks it by getting to the bottom rope. Miz then goes for the figure 4 again, but Ciampa rolls him up for a 2 count. Ciampa blocked it. A big kick for another roll up. Ciampa with a single leg crab. More back and forth with pin attempts. The counter moves. Big chops and get to the knees and both get to their feet. Ciampa misses face first in the corner. Miz follows up with a big corner clothesline. Miz comes from the top, but Ciampa nails a knee on the way down, and Ciampa hits the fairy tale ending for the pin and the win. After the match, Ciampa stands tall, has his arm raised, we go to replay. Ciampa poses in the corner, plays the crowd as Miz tries to recover. We see Daniel Bryan backstage walking. He stops at Triple H and Shawn Michaels. He asks why they're here, and they're just visiting. Triple H brings up how all 3 brands will do battle at Survivor Series. They didn't mention what type of match, but it will happen. My guess is a Survivor Series triple that match. Some type of a new match, but we'll see what goes on. Bryan challenges Triple H to a match on tonight's show. But Triple H got to get to Bryan's face as fans in the arena go wild. Triple H backs off and says he didn't bring his gear, but he knows someone who did. Triple H calls the NXT champion Adam Cole over and says he's looking for a fight. Bryan says, let's do this right now. Let's do this right. Bryan versus Cole, but for the title. Triple H says Bryan is a gambling man and he likes it. Cole says that works for him too. Triple H makes a match. He walks off with Michaels while Cole and Bryan stare each other down as they go to commercial. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville versus Tegan Nox and Rhea Ripley. So I did spoil it. So Tegan Nox was not out. With the girl from earlier. We go to the ring. Mandy Rose out with Sonya Deville. Carmella's music hits, but we cut backstage to see Bianca Belair destroying Dana Brooke. Then takes out Carmella with ease. So they were supposed to be a tag team for the match. Then we go back to the arena as Deville and Rose watch what happened. Music hits, out comes Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox to the stage as they replace Dana Brooke and Carmella. They talk trash to say now Rose and Deville have new partners. They head to the ring. The bell rings and Nox goes after Deville on the floor as Ripley works over Rose in the ring. Deville sends Nox into the barrier. Rose fights off Ripley in the ring. Ripley with a big drop kick to Rose. Deville grabs Nox on the outside, but Nox counters and launches Deville over the announce table. Nox returns to the ring and takes out Rose with a big knee to the face. Ripley manhandles Rose with a standing clover leaf, and she taps out by submission. Winner of the match, Tegan Nox and Rhea Ripley. The match didn't last very long at all. After the match, Ripley and Nox stand tall as the music plays and we go to replays. Announcer hype, Bryan versus Cole for tonight's main event. Back to commercial. Back to the break. Out comes Triple H and Shawn Michaels to ringside. Stephanie McMahon was out next. The guys at Mike on the stage and gives props to the WWE Universe for the women's evolution. She leads us to a video package on Lacey Evans and Natalia having their picture-making match at Crown Jewel. And shows a replay of that. And your main event, NXT title match, Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole. We go to the ring for tonight's main event. Out first comes Daniel Bryan. We see Triple H and Shawn Michaels. We're watching from the seats at ringside. 2 chairs in front of the announce table. Music hits. Out next comes NXT champion Adam Cole of the Undisputed Era. NXT North American champion Roger Strong was out with him. But Strong returned to the back before the match started. Triple H and Michaels stand up as Cole heads to the ring and poses. Kayla does formal introductions as we go back to commercial. Back for the break. Tom encourages the fans to donate to victims of the California wildfires. How long has wildfires been going on in California? several years. Another bell rings for the main event. Back and forth start. Bryan gets the aggressive first, beats Cole down as Triple H looks on. Cole fights back and beats Bryan in the corner as the referee warns him. Bryan turns it around and works on the leg as he keeps Cole grounded. Bryan goes for a surfboard submission, staring at Triple H and Michaels as he puts Cole in the air. Bryan then brings Cole into the submission on the mat. Bryan breaks a hold and keeps his hold. Bryan with uppercuts now. Cole comes back out of nowhere, rocks Bryan to the mat. Cole sells the arm injury and covers for a 2 count. Cole goes for a suplex, but Bryan resists. They take hold some more and both go over the top rope. Landing hard on the floor, go to commercial with both superstars on the outside. Back to the right, Cole drops Bryan on his head for a 2 count. Cole drops elbows and a knee now. Bryan kicks out a 2. Cole keeps Bryan down with a head scissors now. More back and forth. Bryan mounts offense and nails a big uppercut. They run the ropes. Bryan hits a big knee. Bryan looks to rally the fans now as they cheer him on. This match started about right at 8:30 as Cole kicks Bryan in the shoulder. Cole goes on, but Bryan dumps him over the top rope to the floor, giving this match a 30-minute time limit for TV time. Bryan flies out of the ring with a knee to the face. Triple H and Michaels look a bit concerned at ringside now. Bryan brings him back in and goes for the top up top for a missile drop kick. Bryan gets hyped up as the Yes Borgasm chants start up from the crowd. Bryan with a running drop kick in the corner. Cole counters the top rope hurricane and rolls Bryan up for a 2 count. Bryan rocks Cole with strikes and runs the ropes, but Cole drops him with a big super kick. I didn't call that a super kick. It was actually more like a drop kick. Cole covers for a close 2 count because both feet were in the air. So how can you call it a super kick? Bryan ends up sending Cole out of the ring in front of Triple H and HBK's chairs. They both are up and move out of the way. Bryan goes back in and runs the ropes again for a suicide dive, but Cole meets him at the ropes with a huge super kick to the head. That was a super kick. Bryan goes down and we go back to commercial. Back with Ray, Cole climbs up to the top where he and Bryan are waiting. Bryan slides out and crosses Cole. Bryan climbs up and nails a massive super German suplex. Cole lands bad on his neck. Bryan yells out and Triple H looks worried about the title possibly going to Bryan. Bryan stands up as fans cheer for him. Bryan flies for a diving headbutt, but Cole moves out of the way. Cole drops Bryan's neck over his knee for a 2 count. That was more like a shoulder breaker. Fan chant, this is awesome now. Cole exposes his knee and charges in with the knee at Bryan, but Bryan counters and applies a single leg crab. Cole tried to break it as Triple H stands up and looks worried. Bryan drops Cole into another leg submission in the middle of the ring. Cole finally gets to the bottom rope and breaks it. Bryan talks trash to Cole while kicking him around the ring now. Cole fights back, as does Bryan. Cole drives Bryan into the mat for a close 2 count. Bryan goes into the label lock in the middle of the ring. Fans go wild. Cole breaks it. Bryan stomps away while Cole holding Cole's arms out. Bryan ends up applying the label lock again in the middle of the ring. Triple H and Michaels watch closely from ringside. The hold is finally broken as DX looks relieved as they thought he was going to tap. Bryan delivers his orgasm kicks as Cole tries to get up now. Cole ducks a roundhouse kick and Bryan rolls Bryan up for a 2 count. More back and forth between the two. Bryan with a kick to the head. Cole meets Bryan with a huge super kick like HBK. As a tribute to HBK, Cole goes to the top, hits a Panama surprise for another big pop. Cole hits the ropes and nails the last shot for the pin to retain the title. After the match, Triple H and Michaels applaud Cole as Cole stands tall in the ring as the music hits. Roger Strong comes down to the ring to join Cole with their titles. A bunch of the other NXT superstars appear ringside, then enter the ring, same with Cole and Strong. More than a dozen superstars now, including NXT Cruiserweight Champion Leo Rush. Triple H and Michaels also join them. Triple H takes the mic and says Raw and SmackDown can have a battle with NXT and Survivor Series if they want a fight. He goes on and says, this is his army, this is their ring. And Raw and SmackDown better know what they're getting into at Survivor Series. Triple H says NXT has fired their first shot. Raw and SmackDown. Let's see what you've got. Triple H says, just remember one thing. We are NXT. He drops the mic and the NXT team hits as the NXT superstars all celebrate together. With the other NXT superstars behind them, Triple H stands with Cole and Shayna Baszler with their titles in the air and SmackDown goes off the air. 205 Live. Tom Pellos and Aiden English welcomes us to another edition of 205 Live. Tonight's show takes place from Buffalo, New York. Isaiah Swerve Scott is out first for the opening contest. Eric DeVary attacks him from behind. He smashes Swerve into the barricades around the ring, then continues his assault inside the ring by whipping him into the turnbuckles. Several referees separate DeVary and check on Swerve to see if he can compete. He says yes. This one's underway. DeVary charges. Swerve surpasses him with a knee strike. DeVary rolls to the outside. Swerve goes to follow. DeVary pulls out his leg, and Swerve hits the apron hard. Back in the ring, running elbow from DeVary for a near fall. He lights out Swerve's chest with chops. Swerve shakes it off, and stomps DeVary down in the corner. DeVary retakes control and grounds Swerve, applying a submission. Swerve attempts to escape, but DeVary continues to wear him down. Suplex out by DeVary's block. Swerve nails one of his own. Up kick rocks DeVary. Swerve follows up with a combo, ending in a drop kick. He misses a splash. DeVary tries to take advantage. Middle rope elbow from Swerve. Swerve picks up the face. Sack over suplex. Jumping flatliner. Cover. DeVary kicks out. Swerve traps DeVary in the corner. Super kick to the gut. Jumping DDT. DeVary kicks out again. Swerve to the top. Double stomp. Misses. He runs into a super kick by DeVary. DeVary whips Swerve off the top rope. Goes for the hammerlock lariat. Swerve turns it into a roll-up. DeVary gains position. Urinachi. DeVary and Swerve bounce off the ropes. They take each other out with lariats. Both men are down. DeVary taunts Swerve by calling him a piece of garbage. Swerve responds by slapping DeVary in the face. He ties him up in the ropes. Double stomp to the outside. Swerve throws DeVary back in the ring. Climbs up to the top. DeVary meets him up there. Overhead belly to belly. DeVary to the top. He misses the splash. Swerve connects with a drive-by kick and gets a win. Commercial for WWE Shop featuring Roman Reigns. We're shown. Commentary shows footage from Crown Jewel with Sunil Singh losing the 24 championship to R-Truth. Samir Singh would win it back from Truth later on the show. Jack Gallagher comes to the ring for the next matchup. His opponent, Ray Jazikoff, already in the ring. Never heard of him. So he must be a jobber. A local indie fan wrestler. Tie up, Gallagher takes her into control with a wrist lock. Jazikoff reverses the pressure, but Gallagher regains the advantage and wraps Jazikoff off in a modified armbar. He transitions into a pinfall. Jazikoff escapes with ease. Back on her feet, Jazikoff applies a hammerlock. Gallagher baits Jazikoff off. Arm drag. Gallagher lands his signature hit. Headstand spot in the corner. Bounces off the ropes. Shoulder tackle by Jazikoff. Gallagher answers with a headbutt that sends Jazikoff to ringside. Gallagher side to the outside and whips him into a barricade. Thunder chops by Gallagher. He hits a running drop kick on the outside. And then another one in the ring. That'll do it. Winner by pinfall. Jack Gallagher. Advertisement for WrestleMania 36, which takes place on April 20th from Tampa Bay, Florida. Tickets go on sale November 15th. Commentary tells us that NXT UK wrestlers will be joining 205 next week. Main event time. Raw Mendoza makes his way out first. The champ, Leo Rush, is second. Here we go. Tie up. Rush for a takedown. Taunts Mendoza before they lock up again. Mendoza cradles Rush early for a close 2 count. Fight spills to the outside. Rush uses the apron to hit a Frankensteiner. He runs back in the ring. Suicide dive connects. He throws Mendoza back in the ring and stomps him down in the corner. Staff suplex. Rush climbs. Mendoza jumps up and sends Rush flying. Suplex into a neck breaker by Mendoza. Covers, only gets a 2. Mendoza starts stringing together offense. Basement drop kick to Rush's face. He keeps the champ grounded, warding off any comeback attempt. Rush starts building momentum. He bounces off the ropes. Huge single leg drop kick. Mendoza strikes back with Rush rolling to the apron. Mendoza joins him. Back and forth striking. Mendoza wins the exchange with a super kick. Goes for the apron suplex, but Rush falls into the ring. Handspring kick that sends Mendoza back to ringside. Rush to the apron. Sorry, moonsault. Both men are down. They continue to brawl on the outside before moving back into the ring. Rush catches Mendoza coming back into the ring. Handspring elbow by the champ. He lights up Mendoza with a flurry of strikes. Roundhouse kick. Nearly wins Rush the match. But crowd is into it. Rush takes off his hand wrap and throws it into Mendoza's face. Mendoza angrily hits an insecurity in the corner. He walks the ropes, misses a drop kick, inside out slam from Mendoza. Somehow Rush kicks out. He calls for his finisher. Rush applies a half crab. Mendoza right in the center and in trouble. He manages to escape and create separation. Rush slows him down with a kick to the gut. Springboard center and shin lock. Rush up top. Final hour frog splash. Got him. Leo Rush wins by pinfall to retain. After the match, Rush offers Mendoza a fist bump for giving him a good fight. Mendoza obliges him. Rush celebrates, and that's the show. And that's my results for this week's SmackDown and 205 Live. Thanks again. Peace out. See you when I'll be in. You don't? No, just call me, brothers and sisters.